Hi, well, welcome to Thursday. We are on the 26th of June 2025. Yeah, my brain has gone today. My brain is fried today. I'm having a bit of neuralgic thing from the shingles, so it's driving me a little crazy. Right, so what are we doing today? We are doing petals. Okay, it's using a mini charm, and I've done a couple of things to do with it. So the tutorial today is just the petals, but we'll go from there, and I'll show you a couple of things that we've been doing with them. Hiya Janice, hiya Anne, Kate and Ali, my little Ali, and Nikki. Hiya Nikki, how you doing? I had a bit of a scare because I couldn't get on. The OBS wouldn't work, the operating system for the videos and everything, and I rang Sarah and there was no answer, and I'm thinking, oh god, what am I going to do? Couldn't find the on off button. It's because I've got an Apple and Sarah's got a Mac, Windows, and I could not find it. It wasn't where it was when I used to use a Windows, so it took me a little while, which is why I'm a minute late. Right, so what are we doing? Hi Marilyn and Leslie, how you doing? 3. So we are going to be making petals, okay? So this is just one petal, and honestly really easy, and then I thought, well, what do I do with it now? It was one of those things, you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, oh, I wonder if I do it like that. And I actually did it like this to begin with, like that, but I wasn't that keen. They didn't sit as well together when you put them together, so I redid it, and honestly it's a piece of cake. What do you do with them afterwards? Well, what did I do with them afterwards? I made a keyring. So that's one of the things that you could do with them. I haven't actually bought any of the stuff to make this because this is not where I was going with it. This was something that I showed Sarah this morning, and she's decided this is something that we need to do something with. So we're gonna have to perfect it because the hand sewing here, I broke a needle, so we need to come up with something different. So this is the other thing that I did with it. Right, I've got to wait for it to catch up on here so that I can see. Hi Jean, how you doing? And who was that? Who have I missed? Where's my thingy? And Marion. I missed Marion coming in. That's all right, Sarah. I sorted it. I get there in the end. It's just quicker to ask you. So this is what I did with mine. So I thought this will make a cushion cover. Probably, it might not be a very comfortable cushion cover because I've put buttons on them, but you could use felt as your circle, which would make it softer. You could also use Bonder web, put the Bonder web on and then sew it down. So I'm going to show you how to make the petals, and then we can finish this one that I've started there. This is just Bonder webbed and appliqued on. Okay, so I quite like them. I keep looking at them and thinking I quite like that. I used the same fabric on the back with each one. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. Right, so what do we need? You need 2.5 inch square. Okay, you need two 2.5 inch squares. You could, so this is why it's good for a mini charm. Yep, that's 2.5. I ran out of mini charm. I got a bit carried away, which is why we're using a bit of batik for this one. Okay, so you're going to put these right sides together. Okay, so if we do 2 at a time, you'll put them right sides together like that, and we're going to sew in a general, I can never find anything here. You'd have thought I would have worked out picking them up before I started. So you've got your 2-inch square. You want to round off. I did start them off, they were square, but I think you just sort of need to round off your corners. Okay, now there's no need to draw them in. I'm just drawing it in so you can see what I mean. Just round off your corner when you're doing it. It gives it that more rounded, but it's very organic because petals are not all the same. Okay, so we're going to go over to there. Flowers look brilliant. I'm well pleased with them, Jean. Well pleased. So we are now going to sew these, and we're going. You need a 1/4 inch, roughly. Okay, so we're going to see whether the machine will think about it. So 1/4 inch. See, it's very, very organic, very quick, like that. And I'm going to do this one. Ooh, look at that. So there we go. So we're going back to this here, and I mean it's in white so you can't see, but somewhere we will have pinking shears. So you're just going to pink it round there. Like I said, I did start with doing it with squared off corners, but I went back and did them all. However, I did a whole mini charm pack like that and then decided I didn't like it, so I had to unpick them all. So, and redo them. Where's the bin? So we're now going to turn these round the right way, like that. Just push out your corners. Push out your corners like that. You could iron them if you want to, but I thought I would leave them puffy rather than flat. So you could change how you sewed these if you wanted to. You could, if you were doing something that was more, you could make them pointy, couldn't you? So once you got to this bit, okay, it was, what do I do now? So I folded them so that the sides touched like that, okay, and then took the back and pushed it up like that, and then these fold out to meet the edges, and you have your petal. Now I don't know whether anybody has already done all this. It was one of those things where I saw something on Pinterest. This doesn't look anything like the ones on Pinterest now. So you're going to take your two edges with your inside of your petal showing, and you're going to push them together so that the seams meet, and then you're going to push up the bottom like that, and then fold your edges out. This is where you could do with another hand. So like that, and then once they're together they will flop out and they look like petals then. Okay, so we're going to take those back to the machine. You're going under the channel. Where are you off to, Eileen? So, oh, that won't work. Come on up. Is there an up? Is there an up button? An up button. I want to go up. That's better. I've got my fingers in the way. I'm going to go back because I missed a bit. See, my new pedal that I've got at home, it does all the reversing and the cutting and stuff now. So you need to make sure that your fingers don't get stuck in there. And you want to try and oh, sorry, I missed the camera. I'm back now. I just sewn across here, okay? Sorry, I forgot to move the camera. And then you're going to place them. Now it'll all depend on what you're going to do with them next, okay? When we looked at this one and we started talking about this one, I should have picked up all the stuff to make this, and I didn't. But what have we got here? What have we got here? They're not long enough. Oh look. Oh, that's not long enough either. What have we got that's long enough? They're not wide enough. She must have something here. So, to make the stalky bit, okay, stalky bit, I cut a 5-inch, no, I cut a 4-inch from here. I cut 4 inches. See, we're going off pieced again, 4 inches, like that, just like that. Now I would do that in green, okay? Now, you're not going to need quite that much. No, yeah, maybe. We're going to fold it in half, like that. And then you fold it in half again so that it folds over like that, like you would with bias, okay? This is very like that, and then you're going to sew down the edges, okay? Make sure that it all fits in nicely, like that. Now what we wanted to do is finish it up. For now we're just going to do it like this. This will fold like that, and our flower will go on the end there. Okay, so at the moment we're just going to sew them together in a strap. You're coming back from Brussels. Have you been at the summit? So we're just going to go up and down on this. Now I haven't put an end on this at the moment because we're going to hide this under the flower. So there we go. Oh, that's not like that, is it? There we go, that's better. Right, where are we? 3. So I've just made a strap, simple strap. You're going to fold it in half, and you would then put your ring on there, a thingy ring. What are they called? Key ring. You put a key ring on there, okay, and then sew it across like that so it doesn't fall, go up and down. Now this, I'm going to cut that like that. This is where you're going to put your flower. Okay, I'm going to take this one off here. I'm going to take this off here, and you'll be able to see then how all this works. So with this, all I did was pinned it in place and then sewed a little circle round to hold it in place, and then I put pins on it. Right, so with this one, you're going to want to pin this in place. So I'm not thinking this through properly because this wasn't where I was going. Okay, so you need to come up a bit like that and like that. So you're going to want all of them to crisscross like that there. So can we stick those in there like that? Like that. You're going to want that all in there. I suppose you could bundle web it, stick it somehow like that, and then with these we could do it so that it's raw edged. We're just going to create a circle like that. It's a bit big, isn't it? I'll take a bit more of that. That came out a lot bigger than I was expecting. How about that? That's still a bit big. There you go, that'll do. That'll do for now, pig. Right, so we need to try and attach that to that. This is going to be interesting. Okay, let's take those over to there and we'll have a go, shall we? Thank you, Carol. There's something that I'm quite happy with. I'm liking how it turned out. So you could use this as a bag charm. So if we start with that. Oh, come on. That's it. That's one. Lift. That's it. 2. And layer another one on there. Now, like I say, I'm sure there must be easier ways of doing this. I think I sewed them all together first because this idea was an afterthought. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. What have you done with the other one, girls? Where'd you put the other one? Is that it? And I finished that. Go round. Going round like that. Cut that off there. So if I put this on there, Now, like I say, you could use felt. I'm going to go around. You could use felt or a covered button, or you could actually put a applique thing. And of course you could make the petals and super glue it all together, or glue gun it together. This is just a rough idea. There we go. Haha. Right, so there we have a very rough flower. So you would then build another one and put it on the other side, and you have a key charm. So this can be as long or short as you like. They could be appliques on the back of jackets, or straight onto your bag. Oh, look at that. That's a real nice little mess, which we're going to keep covered with by putting another flower on the other side. Or even, you only need to do the one really. All that could be covered like that. However, I do like it as the cushion. I do like it as the cushion. You put it in there and then fill the thing out. And if you can come up with a way of doing these petals together that's a lot more not cumbersome like I've done, then let me know. But yeah, so petally. It's very petally. What number am I going for? 2. There you go. It's a really, really quick one. Look at that. It's only 23 minutes past and I was late. So it's a really quick one to do your petals. You could use them as ears. Yeah, I had, as I was doing that, I had like 2 petals that hadn't been used, and I thought I could have them so that you could have like half of one and the petal falling off, but you'd have to make those ends nicer, neater, turn them in. Anyway, there's an idea for you. Petals. Right, I am going back to doing the binding of books. Anne is busy packing kits and Sarah's busy cutting and I'm busy binding books. So I look forward to seeing your petals coming up. And we'll see you next week. Yeah, we're all still around next week. We're at a quilt group this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. So if you have a quilt group anywhere, as long as you're not, you know, like 8 hours away, we can come and do a pop-up shop and a class on your quilt group. Should you have one that you would like us to attend, let us know. I will see you soon, okay? Next Thursday. Sarah's on Sewing Street on Monday. Don't forget that, 9 and 11, I think. You take care. Bye.